Right then, let's dive into a story that took the nation by surprise. Let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel, the beloved late-night host known for his sharp wit and engaging monologues. Recently, his familiar face vanished from American TV screens, leaving fans puzzled and concerned. For 6 days in September 2025, Jimmy Kimmel Live was not live, nor was it on. The show went dark without any prior warning. ABC abruptly pulled the plug, giving Kimmel an unexpected, stressful holiday. The sudden suspension left everyone guessing. This wasn't a planned vacation. It was a primetime suspension, a corporate panic attack. The network's decision was shrouded in mystery. The blackout turned a talk show into a national firestorm. Headlines blazed, and speculation ran wild. It's a tangled mess involving political threats, corporate cowardice, and the power of local TV affiliates. The situation was more complex than it seemed. The attempt to silence Kimmel made him louder, turning a monologue into a viral phenomenon. Social media exploded with support for the host. It's a story with heroes, villains, and confused executives. The drama unfolded both on and off the screen. Let's unpack how a few sentences led to a blackout, a celebrity-backed crusade, and a national conversation. The ripple effects were enormous. We'll examine the key players, from Kimmel to the government officials who tried to muzzle him. Each had a role in this unfolding drama. This is the story of Jimmy Kimmel's controversial comeback, a tale of resilience, public support, and the fight for free speech. Before the suspension, before the headlines and the controversy, it's important to take a step back and remember the journey that brought Jimmy Kimmel to the center of American pop culture. So, who is Jimmy Kimmel? To many, he's the familiar face behind the desk on late-night television, but his story is much more layered than that. James Christian Kimmel was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1967 and raised in Las Vegas. His path to stardom wasn't straightforward. As a kid, he was known for his mischievous sense of humor and love for pranks, traits that would later define his career. Kimmel's first real break came in morning radio, where he quickly became known for his sharp wit, elaborate prank calls, and a knack for making people laugh even before sunrise. He bounced between stations, learning the ropes and developing his comedic voice. At KROQ in Los Angeles, he became the sports guy, a role that let him blend sports commentary with outrageous gags. Back then, Kimmel was more about laughs than politics, and his irreverent style set him apart from traditional broadcasters. National fame arrived when he co-hosted Comedy Central's The Man Show, a raucous, unapologetically masculine comedy series that became a cult favorite. The show was known for its outrageous sketches and beer-fueled antics, not for serious social commentary. The Man Show was a celebration of over-the-top humor, and Kimmel's comedic timing made him a standout. No one watching then would have guessed he'd become a future voice in national debates. In 2003, ABC took a chance on Kimmel, launching Jimmy Kimmel Live. The show entered a crowded late-night field, competing with established giants like Letterman and Leno. Early on, the show was known for its viral comedy sketches, celebrity interviews, and unpredictable moments. It was a place for laughs, not a must-watch for those following politics or current events. But as the years passed, Kimmel's role evolved. He began using his platform to address serious issues, blending humor with heartfelt commentary. His emotional monologues, especially on topics like healthcare and personal loss, struck a chord with viewers and critics alike. These moments marked a turning point, transforming his public image from class clown to thoughtful commentator. Over time, Kimmel became a prominent voice in national conversations, appearing in headlines and on panels, and using his influence to shape public opinion. Understanding this evolution is crucial. It explains why, when Kimmel made headlines in 2025, his words carried so much weight, and why the reaction was so explosive. The debacle began on September 15, 2025. It was a day that would soon be etched into the annals of television history, not for a scripted drama or a blockbuster premiere, but for a single, unscripted moment that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and the nation at large. The world was already on edge, but no one could have predicted just how much a late-night monologue would ignite a firestorm. The nation was reeling from the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a polarizing activist whose presence had long divided public opinion. Vigils were held in cities across the country, and the air was thick with grief, confusion, and anger. Newsrooms scrambled to cover the unfolding tragedy, while millions of Americans sat glued to their screens, searching for answers and comfort in a moment of national trauma. That night, Jimmy Kimmel took to his desk with a gravity rarely seen on late-night television. His monologue was somber, his words carefully chosen, as he addressed the aftermath of the assassination. Kimmel condemned the violence in no uncertain terms, calling for unity and reflection in a time of deep division. But Kimmel didn't stop at mourning. He turned his attention to the political response, critiquing what he saw as opportunism and hypocrisy. He accused the MAGA movement of twisting the narrative, of using the tragedy to further their own agenda, and of refusing to acknowledge uncomfortable truths about the climate of hate that had been brewing. His words were pointed. The MAGA movement is trying to present the killer as someone else. The statement flashed across social media and news tickers within minutes, igniting a fierce debate. For some, it was a necessary call-out. For others, it was a step too far. For supporters, Kimmel's monologue was a brave and honest condemnation of political opportunism. They praised his willingness to speak truth to power, to use his platform to challenge the narratives being spun in the wake of tragedy. Social media lit up with messages of support, and the studio audience responded with applause and cheers. But for detractors, it was an unforgivable partisan attack. Many viewers at home were outraged, accusing Kimmel of exploiting a national tragedy for political gain. Protests erupted outside network offices, and critical signs filled the streets as the backlash grew. The backlash was instant and fierce. Conservative media outlets erupted in outrage, devoting hours of coverage to denouncing Kimmel's remarks. Hashtags trended, op-eds were written, and the outrage machine went into overdrive, demanding accountability and retribution. The controversy quickly escalated beyond the realm of television. The FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, publicly threatened ABC with regulatory scrutiny, suggesting that the network could face consequences for airing what he called dangerous and divisive rhetoric. The threat was unprecedented, blurring the lines between government oversight and free speech. Here was a government official, wielding the power of the state, threatening action over a comedian's monologue. The implications were chilling, raising questions about censorship, political pressure, and the future of late-night television. Disney, the parent company of ABC, suddenly found itself at the center of a storm. Executives scrambled to contain the fallout, holding emergency meetings and consulting crisis management teams. The company faced outrage from all sides: viewers, politicians, and advocacy groups. While the threat of government intervention loomed large, the mouse was about to get very, very scared. Inside Disney's headquarters, anxiety ran high as urgent emails flew back and forth. Employees whispered in hallways, wondering what would happen next, as the company's carefully crafted image teetered on the brink. The pressure was immense, and Disney's response was pure panic. The monologue that started as a call for reflection had become a national crisis, threatening to upend the balance between entertainment, politics, and free speech in America. Faced with crisis, Disney blinked. On September 17th, ABC suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely. The move was sudden. Kimmel was informed an hour before taping. The suspension turned a partisan squabble into a national media event. The question became whether Disney caved to political pressure. For 6 days, the 11:35 p.m. slot was a black hole, a reminder of controversy. Reruns filled the void, but the absence spoke louder. Speculation ran wild. Was Kimmel fired? Would he return? News outlets treated the suspension as a major political story. Kimmel remained silent, adding to the intrigue. Disney, trying to douse flames, poured petrol on them. They wanted the story to go away, but ensured Kimmel was all anyone talked about. The suspension became a public spectacle. Enter the local affiliate groups, Sinclair and Nexstar. ABC relies on local stations to carry its programming. When Kimmel was set to return, Sinclair and Nexstar refused to air it. This was a massive deal, preempting Kimmel on nearly a quarter of ABC stations. Sinclair demanded a public apology and a donation to Turning Point USA. The affiliate revolt highlighted the power of local station owners. They can effectively censor national programming in local markets. Disney, already reeling, was now fighting a war on a second front. By September 26th, Sinclair and Nexstar resumed airing the show. They demonstrated their power to disrupt and influence the network. The incident added complexity to media and political relationships. As Disney battled affiliates, Hollywood mobilized. The suspension and FCC threats chilled the creative community. They saw it as an assault on free speech and artistic expression. An open letter, signed by over 400 entertainment figures, rebuked Disney and the government. It defended Kimmel's right to speak and condemned regulatory intimidation. Civil liberties organizations like the ACLU weighed in. Legal experts criticized the FCC's actions as governmental overreach. The pro-Kimmel camp framed this as a battle for American values. The celebrity-backed campaign shifted public relations entirely. Disney faced a revolt from the talent that populates its shows. The cavalry arrived, giving Disney the backbone it lacked. After 6 days, Kimmel's return was a TV phenomenon. On September 23, he received a thunderous standing ovation. The show drew 6.3 million viewers, a colossal spike. His opening monologue was a masterclass in navigating controversy. He defended free speech, addressing the FCC chairman's actions. Kimmel clarified he never intended to make light of Kirk's murder. The monologue exploded online, garnering millions of views. Kimmel created a monocultural moment, captivating the country. The controversy gave the show a lasting boost in viewership. The comeback demonstrated the Streisand effect. Attempts to suppress him made him more popular and powerful. The incident re-energized the show's brand. Kimmel was a central figure in the cultural and political landscape. While Kimmel thrived, Disney faced a massive headache. The suspension was a public relations nightmare with financial costs. Disney's stock fell, losing nearly $5 billion in market value. The controversy triggered a fierce consumer backlash. Hashtags like Boycott Disney trended, urging consumers to hit Disney's wallet. Disney was caught in a hyper-partisan crossfire. The episode was a brutal lesson in modern media perils. Disney's panicked suspension backfired, angering everyone. The incident exposed the vulnerability of powerful media conglomerates. Disney learned that trying to please everyone pleases no one. The company lost billions in shareholder value. It was a very expensive public lesson. Beyond ratings and stock prices, the Kimmel affair raised troubling questions about free speech. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr's threat crossed a dangerous line. The FCC should manage broadcasting, not censor political speech. This action was condemned as intimidation, creating a chilling effect. Broadcasters might self-censor to avoid FCC scrutiny. The controversy highlighted the power of media consolidation. The Kimmel incident was a flashpoint in the debate about media power and free press fragility. What have we learned from Kimmel's controversy? Attempting to silence him did the opposite, making him a free speech martyr. Controversy can be a powerful engine for audience engagement. The affair revealed modern media power dynamics. It showed how corporations, government, and affiliates influence content. Kimmel's comeback is a cautionary tale with an optimistic twist. It warns of threats to free expression from government and corporate forces. However, a unified response forced Disney to reverse course. Kimmel remains on air, his voice louder than ever. The episode reaffirms the resilience of free speech. Attempts to silence a voice can backfire, turning a comedian into a symbol.